Hey everybody, it's Alan Lowe, and as promised, here we are tonight to have another episode of the I Told You Show. And tonight, we've got Candy with us again. And how are you doing tonight, Candy?
I'm doing great. How are you, Alan?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. And tonight, we're going to discuss...
Rumor Roundup.
And that's the topic for tonight. So let's start it off. And
we got 30 minutes. I don't know if that's going to be long enough today, but we'll try.
Well, we can always make a second episode.
Yes, we can always make a second episode. So I guess the one that I would like to quell at first is the one about the electioneering. There's a rumor going around that several of people in the group that I'm in, that I met through the flooding issue, are being put in for electioneering charges, which is total and utter nonsense.
Well, let me tell you, as we get closer to Election Day, they're going to go nuts. They always go nuts because when they can't beat somebody's platform, and they can't beat my platform, then they try to beat the person. And in order to beat the person, since they've tried to beat me in every different lie in every different way they can possibly come up, like I blew up the Oklahoma City building, or I'm not a citizen of the United States, or that I've never paid taxes, and all those types of lies that they've been spewing for a few years now, and people are actually dumb enough to believe it all. Mm-hmm. When they can't get you that way, then they go and try to do the guilt by association thing, and they go after people around you.
So that's exactly what's going on. And I wanted to get ahead of that because I know how many people this podcast reaches. It reaches way more people than we've reached in our meet and greets, really. I mean, this reaches over 1,000 people. So I just want everybody to know the conversations, that we have.
Sure.
I wanted to kind of have it right now.
Yeah, let's do it.
That before that rumor gets out there, because I am not electioneering. Electioneering is energetically putting your all behind a certain candidate, which is what I'm doing, but I'm not doing any illegal electioneering because I'm not getting paid.
No.
I'm campaigning for you because I wanted to. And I will take the blame. I know I bugged you for months to run for mayor, and I know you weren't planning on it. And I know I was one of the people that probably bothered you the most, and I said if you decide to run, I would work for you to get elected. And that's what I'm doing. I'm doing it because I think Alan's the best choice.
Thank you.
I think Alan has the best platform. I don't want to talk about somebody's past because not one of the people running for mayor, not one of them can say that they've had a perfect past, especially here in Flagler County, especially way more recently than your 30-year ago thing.
Well,
Okay.
and the other thing is that, yes, 30 years ago, I did battle the IRS because they came after me, and I paid them what they asked for, and then they wanted more. So that wasn't
Right.
going to happen.
We don't want a yes man in office. Does
No.
everybody want another yes person? Look what that's got us so far. So instead of smearing everybody else, you need to look at their message and look what we've ended up with. And you need to decide for yourself, do we still want change? Because I have talked to people every day that I don't even know that want change. And you're going to be the change if they would listen.
Yeah. Well, one of the things also that goes along with that is, I was starting to say that 30 years ago, I went to battle because I was, now they talk about the IRS being weaponized. Well, 30 years ago, it was weaponized against me. They tried to extract more money from me than they initially said that I owed, and that I actually paid them. And yes, I've always paid taxes. Yes, I'm a citizen of the United States. No, I didn't blow up the Oklahoma City building. No, I wasn't involved with any group that blew up the Oklahoma City building. And when, in a former race, I even had the FBI come to my house because the candidate that I was running against lied and said I was up with January 6th and that I assaulted an officer up there. So the FBI came to my home, and obviously, since I'm sitting here, they realized it was a bunch of BS. But when they can't beat you, they'll reach out and try to do anything. And right now, it's guilt by association.
And that's what they're doing. I mean, they've even tried to make a false claim on you this time with your mother-in-law, which was totally untrue.
Right. They actually, let's say what it was.
Yeah, tell everybody.
So I got a phone call from the sheriff's department. Wasn't from Staley, but it was from the sheriff's department, that my mother-in-law had fallen and broke her arm, and that I refused to take her to the hospital, which is a total fabrication, a total lie. She never broke anything. And if I had a fear of taking her to the hospital for some unknown reason, then in January, when she actually did pass out and we called the ambulance and she went to the hospital, I might have been afraid to do it then. But obviously I wasn't afraid to do it, and I'm not afraid to do it. She's my mother-in-law, and I would do anything I could to make sure that she's okay. But they will lie about things, and people will be dumb enough at times to actually believe the lies.
Yeah, and that's what happened last time. Once the powers that want to stay in power see somebody making some waves and getting some headway with the people starting to listen, this is when they start this stuff.
Yes.
And I blame those people for getting us all in the position with the city, all the overdevelopment, all the flooding. I blame those people because they allowed this type of I don't even want to say mayor, this type of person to run our city. These type of people. It's just not right for somebody that is in development and real estate to run a city. That's just my opinion. I'm not trying to tell anybody who to vote for. That's just my opinion. I've been here 10 years and I've seen it change, and I've heard this from hundreds of people also, not just myself. So that's what got me involved with the flooding thing to whole start with, and how you and I ended up meeting up, because you ended up coming to help me to get the public involved in a public forum at the community center, and help me make slides, help us make maps. I mean, you and Leslie and a whole bunch of other people were involved with that from the beginning.
Yeah.
You weren't running for mayor then. You were just helping us. So I don't think people know that, because the people that come to the meet and greets hear us talk about this, but everybody else out here does not know that.
Yeah. Well, what yes, when you're in a race, you want to reach out and be involved with people and stuff like that. But to be honest, I've lived in Palm Coast 41 years. I can't even fathom that length of time. But I've been in Palm Coast for 41 years. I moved down to go to work with my dad. He was a builder. He has since passed away, but he was a builder, and we built single-family homes. And in the time that he was building, which was roughly on his own, roughly 1980 or 81 to 1992. He built 115 houses in that length of time. So it wasn't like we were developers or anything like that. We were building single-family homes. But during this time, I put together a food. When Hurricane Maria came through and destroyed Puerto Rico, there was an island it destroyed before that. That was the island of the Commonwealth of Dominica. 95% of all structures on that island were destroyed. I put together a food drive. We managed to bring 115,000 meals. I shipped them down to the island. I went down to the island with my wife, and we handed them out. And that was put together by a group that I managed to get together somehow. I don't know how we managed to do it, but we did. We got probably about 100 people here to work on that. There was a lady that I knew that her husband had passed away from Roundup, and she's suing Roundup, suing whatever the company is, trying to get money for it. But she has no money, and her water heater blew up. Actually, it didn't blow up. It was just leaking like a sieve. And she had no money, so I replaced her water heater for her. I had actually an excellent, I'm going to give them a plug right here, Castle Plumbing. What an amazing company. They came in and took care of it, and they didn't charge. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
So we do things like that. I'm on the board of directors of Flagler County Drug Court. It's on and on that I try to be involved.
And the stuff you've been doing for years, not just during
Not
election
just now.
season. That's been my point all along to people, is that you've been involved in everything around here since I've been here, which is 10 years. So I just wish people would listen to the message and put all the other stuff aside, because nobody that's running is perfect. Next subject.
Well, before you do that, let's just real quick go back a little bit. So yes, I had my interactions with the IRS and all of that stuff 30 years ago, but everything that I was battling involved me, nobody else.
Right.
But there's a candidate now who is our mayor, who previously has had 2 DUIs. That involved everybody else that was on the road at the same time.
Yeah.
So people get on me, 30 years ago you fought the IRS and all this other crap. Yeah, I fought them. But I didn't hurt anybody, and I didn't potentially hurt any other
Right.
person.
That
So
was only to you that
me.
affected.
So, when they jump on me and they get all angry about me, they need to look around a little deeper at everybody else that's around.
Right. And when they do, they'll see that everybody has something. So put everybody's some things aside and listen to everybody's message, and then how they're going to execute their message, because that's very important. Because some people don't know the problems of Palm Coast. Actually, they came to you to get help with their campaign because you weren't running, and you helped them, but then they told you, thanks for helping me, but don't tell anybody that you helped me. That is not somebody that I want running my city either. And I'm not going to name any names because everybody can figure all this stuff out on their own. But there are people doing bad things right now
Yes.
that they shouldn't be doing right now that are going to affect the election right now. All I'm saying is stuff that's true, stuff that I have documents from, emails I've read, podcasts I've heard, meetings I've sat in on, all that stuff. Everything I say comes from that. I'm not telling anybody how to vote. I'm just telling you to look at how you vote.
Exactly. And the whole electioneering thing, I've heard, people saying that behind the scenes that you and some of my other friends have been, rumoring and bad mouthing and attack. It's like, do you really expect me to believe this stuff? It's just, why would anybody go out and work to help me get elected as hard as you have by talking to people, helping me organize things, and then stand in the background going, yeah, he stinks and don't vote for
I
him.
would
It's
never
the
do
dumbest
that.
thing in the world.
It is the stupidest thing. And half the ones that are on there, I haven't said a word about or referred to.
Yeah.
So, and that's just because they've not been involved for me to have an opinion on them.
No, they
My
haven't been
opinion
involved.
comes from that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So being involved, we have been involved with a lot of different people, especially with the flooding. Okay.
Yeah, the flooding issue is a big issue. Yes.
Yeah. So I just want to put this out there to everybody that Democrats and Republicans work together on the flooding issue. Did you know that you could actually do that? Honestly, I didn't think that we could do that until I actually was a part of doing that myself. So don't let all this national politics stuff divide us, because we have to work together.
In order to save the city,
We're
we have to
never
work
going to
together.
have all Democrat or all Republican anywhere. And I guess 30% of our voters are Democrat. We can't shut them out. We have to work together to get things done. So yes, I have worked with people that are on the other side of the aisle from me. And yes, Alan has too. But it was for a greater cause. It's for our infrastructure.
I actually had somebody the other day. I've aligned with nobody. My campaign right now is me. On a national level, I'm on the right-hand side. I'm, Republican. On our local level, I'm on neither side because it's the community that we have to work with. But I was told the other day that I am receiving donations from Democrats, and therefore I'm aligning with Democrats, and they blocked me off Facebook. Dumbest thing ever. First off, I don't think I've ever received I don't think a Democrat would actually vote for me. But I'm willing to help anybody, and I'm willing to help the community, and I don't care where they are politically.
Because it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter on a
if
local
everybody
level.
can remember back to when nobody knew what everybody was, and nobody talked about what everybody
And nobody
was.
cared.
And nobody cared. But now we've let it all go for so long by not talking about it, and now look at where we are. So now everybody is talking about it.
Yeah.
But we still have to all work together, and we're not all always going to agree 100%. Even people in our group get in arguments because we don't agree on how we present things or how we're going to present things. But it's all done in truth and what we believe is what's best for the city, about people to know about you before they check the box for somebody else.
Yes.
That's it. That's my whole goal. I'm just trying to inform people. Things that I didn't know. It took me forever to find out here. I can give you a speed quickie lesson real quick, on these Fridays. If people would just listen and go to the meetings, follow the Flagler Voice on Facebook, follow these podcasts. We have other pages where you can follow the local things that are going on. We're just trying to get information out to people.
Yeah,
Because
we
people
have
don't
a
know
very
stuff.
we have a very large group of uninformed voters in Palm Coast. I mean, when you think about it, there's a large number of people complaining about our current mayor. That large number of people didn't vote last time.
Right.
We had when the last mayoral election, special election happened, we had roughly 80,000 registered voters. Of the 80,000 registered voters, 18% voted. Almost nobody.
Yeah, do people know how many that is?
Yeah, well, it's
Under 20,000. Under 20,000 of 80,000 people voted.
yeah, exactly. Under 20,000 people voted in, and we now have a mayor that a large number of people now don't like.
Right.
But they didn't do anything about it when the time was available to do something about it before. Hopefully, they'll do something about it now.
Right. Well, I mean, I talk to people all the time. I have, people, I had a lady come pick up a order for me today, a dessert order. And she was like, I see all your signs. I've never met her before in my life. She said, the mayor we have now has to go. She doesn't even know that I'm like your lead volunteer campaign person. She doesn't know me from Adam. She just was coming to pick up some brownies. I work in St. Augustine, and there's people that are buying here that don't like what it looks like now. That after they bought their lot, it looked one way, and now they're building on it, and it looks another way. They're not happy either.
Yeah.
So this is far-reaching. I guess people need to really understand that the reason I spend my time is because it matters to me what happens to Palm Coast. I'm not moving from here.
No, me either. I've been here 41 years.
Right.
I'm not going in.
And that's another thing. People that run here don't always live here. They may have an address here, but they don't always live here. Or they show up out of nowhere. Or when they lose, they just disappear and you don't see them again.
Yeah.
I've never seen you do that.
No, I've run. This is the
And
fourth
you've run
run.
a few times, and
Sure.
people want to say something bad about
Yeah.
you. I'd like to see them get out
Yeah.
here and do all this
Well,
work.
the fun
know?
the fun thing that I like to talk about is that whenever you see a race go on, and there's like right now in the mayoral race, there's 5 candidates. The majority, if they lose, we will never hear from again. I have each time I've run, if I've lost, I've been sitting at City Hall the next week, still fighting for the people for the same reasons
Right.
that I was fighting with before. It's not about me. It's about the city. If it was
And that's
about
what
me,
people
I
don't
wouldn't have done this at all.
You wouldn't do this again. And honestly,
No.
you were reluctant because of all the mud throwing that's going on. And now they're trying to throw mud at me. And there is no mud to throw at me because I'm not doing anything maliciously on purpose to anybody. I'm just putting out my opinion and what I've seen for other people to know.
Yeah.
They don't have to vote for you. They don't always have to agree with what I say either, but they still should hear what's going on.
Yeah. They need to be informed.
I don't want to know half the stuff I know, but I can't unknow it now, so I need to share it with people so we can get this ball rolling back the way it needs to roll. So they're saying stuff about development too. You and I are not against development. We want careful, slow development. Our infrastructure needs to catch up, right?
Yeah, let me be perfectly clear on that too. The big development run right now is for the westward expansion on the west side of Route 1. I am not opposed to anybody doing whatever development they want to do after we have stepped back and taken care of the infrastructure that's currently failing or about to fail in Palm Coast. For instance, the roads. Now, I see them working on the roads as best they can. We don't have a full budget to fix all of the roads. We have water treatment plants that are at max. And very shortly, we won't be able to supply water to new builds. So before we put the cart too far in front of the horse with the westward expansion and we build houses out there that we can't connect water to, we need to step back and take care of our water
People
supply.
don't understand that. If the water plants are already at capacity, why do you think all of our water pressure is lower? Why do you think our water color is different sometimes? That's why. Because our water plants are working at max capacity. I sat at the city council meeting and listened to the man that runs that at the water plants tell the mayor that we needed more money for the plants because they were working at capacity. They're spending so much on repairs. They're having to repair more often because they're running hard all the time. It's like running your car at 6,000 RPMs all the time.
Yeah,
You're going
eventually
to
it's
go
gonna
through oil way more than 6 months. It's going to blacken the oil and
burn it up.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with the water plants. So all this stuff has an effect on all the people that already live here now. That's the voice that I hear from you. That's what I want my mayor to do.
Yeah, we need to step back. We don't need to stop everything cold. People talk about a moratorium, and to me, a moratorium is a short-term answer to a long-term problem. and it won't work. What we'll end up doing is putting a whole bunch of people out of work. We won't have enough time to solve the problems, and everything starts over again. What we need to do is just take a deep breath, step back, prioritize our infrastructure repairs, maintenance, and upgrades, and then slowly move forward.
Right. You have to protect what you have before you add more to
Exactly.
it. And that's the whole thing, that the whole issue behind what even got me started and involved in politics and all that stuff here. Because I can see it happening, and I'm not even in that business, and I can see it with my eyes.
Yeah.
Everybody else can see it with their eyes, and they don't like it. We don't
And-
like
and
seeing
interestingly-
bobcats in our yard in the middle of the day.
Interestingly, we have there was a guy on Facebook the other day, because I am 100% pro economic development. I think if we were to bring in some good companies, some high paying jobs, that we don't have to worry so much about this affordable housing thing, because people will be able to afford their housing.
Right.
When I was talking about economic development, a guy came back on Facebook and made a comment and said, "Oh, so you are for development." Well, there's a huge difference
Right.
between economic development and building houses development. And I'm
Right.
not opposed to building houses development. I'm just opposed to putting the cart before the horse. We need to step back and make sure everything that we already have is at top-notch condition running forward, and then move forward.
And you say cart before the horse, and I say it, put the residents before the builders and developers.
Yeah.
I want somebody that's not making their living off of the builders and developers running the city. I mean, being mayor and city council is really a part-time job. It's one vote of 5. So people
Yes.
need to understand that too. You're going to have other people that you vote in that have the same philosophy as you.
I find
I
it
mean-
very interesting that, we have all these, well, there aren't any more that I know of debate-wise. Well, actually, there aren't any. They've never do debates. They just do Q&As. But the mayoral race, they concentrate heavy on having debates and talks and all this stuff about the mayoral candidates. What people have to understand is that the mayor has one vote. Each city council person has a vote that's equal in weight to the mayor's one vote,
Right.
and it takes 3 votes out of the 5 people to move anything forward. The only position or only thing on the qualifications or the jobs that mayor has is that the mayor is the officiator of the Robert rules and so forth, and setting up the agenda for the city council meeting, and signs the paperwork when the lawyers and everybody else bring it forward. But the vote and the power and so forth that a mayor has is equal to all of the rest of the city
Right. So
council.
it's a shared vote. So just remember, when you vote down ballot, you got to remember who you're voting for there too. And
Yes.
I would just want you to look at the campaign donations, go to their Facebook page, see who's been out involved with the regular citizens, not the people at the golf clubs and not the people behind the gated communities. Not that I have anything against them, but you can't run a city full of people like me and you with only the votes of the people that live in those types of places, because I feel like those people don't get to hear from you. My mom lives in one of those. You guys can't campaign there. You can't send any literature.
Yeah, we can't go into a gated community.
You
You
can't
can't
go in.
put signs in a gated
No,
community.
so they don't even know anything about any of you guys except for what they hear from other people on probably social media, which are all the rumors and stuff.
Right.
So this is what I'm saying. Right now we're in right smack dab. Voting's going to be starting here soon. We're going to have a parade. It's all on our pages. Next Saturday the 10th.
Get out and vote freedom parade.
Yep, it's going to be a Get Out the Vote Freedom Parade. Red, white, and blue. You can write the word vote on your vehicle. We're going to meet at the courthouse. All the details will be posted on my
Courthouse
page.
or city hall?
The courthouse, where the jail and where you get your tags and all that.
Okay, courthouse, yep,
Because there's
okay.
more room for
Sure.
people to decorate and line up and stuff. We'll leave at 12 o'clock sharp. We should be done by 3. And I just would like everybody to do it. I've done one here before, and it's so fun. And we're going to do another one right before the national election as well.
And
so
the-
we
and
can
the
get a kind
plan-
of a warm up.
The plan is to drive through the
We're
main
gonna drive
streets
through
and
the
some
main
neighborhoods.
streets. Yep,
And the object is not to promote any single candidate,
right.
but to promote actually getting out and voting.
Right, because our voter turnout here is pitiful.
Oh,
Everybody
it's
wants to
abysmal.
complain about how everything is, but nobody wants to send those ballots in or go wait in line for 5 minutes and vote.
And they get so excited when the voter turnout is up around 30 to 36%.
No, we got to get it up.
No, it needs to go
No.
up 60, 70%. And in some countries, like Australia, you have to vote. You get fined if you don't vote.
I mean, I think people should vote that are legally citizens that have ID. I think that they should vote. I mean, it's just my opinion. But the
Yeah,
parade is for
mine too.
everybody. I want to make sure, because I'm saying it in front of you so they know I'm not just saying something to you and then something on social media. The parade's for all candidates, all citizens, all car clubs, all motorcycle clubs. All we ask is it's red, white, and blue, and you have the word vote kind of somewhere, and you just come to have a good time and get excited about voting, because that's the way we affect change here and in our country. We have to exercise our vote.
Have to do it.
We
If
have
we don't
to.
do it, if you're happy with development and everything being cut
Stay
down
home.
and the loss
Stay home.
of trees
Stay home.
and water going bad and bills going up and sneaky franchises fees
Stay
on
home.
FPL, stay home.
You guys
Otherwise,
stay
get
home.
out and vote.
Please. That's the whole idea for this whole thing.
So I think we're coming close to the end of this show.
Thanks for having me again. I really
Oh,
appreciate
of course.
it.
We gotta continue to do this. So I think we should continue to do it on Fridays. And as we get more used to how the studio is running, we did a lot of work in here today, and unfortunately, part of the work disabled the call-in section, so we aren't actually able to do it today.
Right.
But it will be back up and running probably tonight. And so the next podcast that we do, I promise we will have call-in
We'll
feature.
have call-ins and no profanity, please.
No, then you'll just get blocked and never be able to contact me. So it'd just be stupid. So
Thank you so much for listening.
yeah, everybody, thank you and appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening.